Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Nina Monique Show. I am your host, Miss Nina Monique, and I have some wonderful guests with me today to talk about being an entrepreneur and everything that it takes to be an entrepreneur, from the mindset to some of the steps that's required to starting your business, to having to surround yourself with positive people to help you move along. Because I think for me, and not just for me, but I think for a lot of entrepreneurs, when we start our own business, a lot of the people who we thought would have, our back, sometimes they, fall off to make room for people who, think like you, want to grow like you, but you still keep, everyone close, but you notice, some changes and things as you become an entrepreneur and as you grow. So we're going to talk about everything included in being an entrepreneur. So I'm going to introduce my guests. To one side of me, I have Miss Taylor Wallis. Hi, Taylor. How are you?
Hi. Hi, everyone.
And then to the other side of me, I have Miss Kimberly Clemons Jones.
Hello,
And on the phone, I will have Leroy McKenzie. He's gonna speak with us also, and also Ibrima Endor is gonna be joining us later on within the show to talk about his award show I Have a Dream and his nonprofit Where Is Taz. So we're gonna get started with the show. And Leroy, are you there? Okay. Leroy?
Yeah,
Hello, how are you?
I'm great. Great. How about you?
I'm great. Thank you for joining us today. I'm
Absolutely.
I'm going to introduce you to my guests. I already did, but in case you didn't hear, I have Miss Kimberly Clemons Jones with us, and
Yeah, 'cause I can't hear anything.
You can't?
I can't hear. Yeah, I couldn't hear anything. I guess with the show.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. My apologies. You can hear now, right?
Well, I can hear you, but I can't. I guess I can't hear anything that you're doing with the show.
Oh, okay. My apologies. And next to me, I also have Miss Taylor Wallis, who's going to be speaking with us also. So we're going to start the show off talking about exactly what type of business you have.
Okay.
You can start off.
Oh, okay. Well, JNF Enterprises is a distribution, publishing, and business consulting firm here in Baltimore, Maryland. We provide book publishing services for aspiring authors as well as seasoned authors that already have projects out there but are looking to gain more exposure, that are looking to gain to do more marketing and to put together a marketing campaign. And then we work with aspiring entrepreneurs. We do business consulting for aspiring entrepreneurs as well as entrepreneurs or business owners that are already in business but are looking to gain more market share, looking to brand themselves as well as their businesses. And then we also offer Christian-based products.
Nice. Very nice. How long did it take you to get your business off the ground?
Well, it took me. I started it back in 2007. And I started off with just the 2 books of poetry that I wrote, that I've written, and then my Christian apparel. And I've grown it since then to where I not only publish my books, but I actually publish other authors as well, and then branched out into doing the business consulting and assisting those that are looking to start and grow their business to be able to do the same thing that I had done with just with my business.
Very nice. Congrats to you on that.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome. Miss Kimberly Clemons Jones, introduce yourself and talk about your business.
Sure. So I go by Rev KC Jones, and besides being a part-time pastor at Valley Stream Presbyterian Church. I am owner of my coaching business is called Restored Life, where I coach women and children on, restoring their souls and their spirits so they can lead healthy and productive lives. And then I also have a nonprofit organization called the Wanted Project for young men of color. And we're actually in our 14th class. We've been running since March 2011. And Wanted stands for worthy, accountable, named, thankful, empowered, and determined. And so instead of being wanted by the police or wanted by their peers or wanted by, the world in negative situations, we tell them that they are wanted for good reasons. And that was based off of a personal issue that we had with our son. And that was, we started the Wanted Project, my husband and I.
Oh, nice. Very nice. We have to talk about that some more too later on in the show, because I'm very much into stuff like that, because I think that's very important to have, especially within our community.
Absolutely. We
So
need it.
yes, so we definitely going to talk some more about that. Let me introduce Miss Taylor Wallis. Tell everyone about yourself and your business.
Of course. Hello, everyone. My name is Taylor Wallis. I am the CEO and founder of Fives. That's FYVS. We are the world's first AI-powered fashion discovery application, exclusively for curvy and plus-size women. AI-powered artificial intelligence, meaning we use technology in a really fun way to help women really get the full scope of what's out there, that's what's being made for them by designers and retailers and brands that actually care about the struggle of the plus and curvy woman and are taking their concerns into consideration when they're producing their apparel. So that's Fives. We are both a mobile application and a publication online as well. In addition to that, I do mindset and lifestyle coaching. So I am what's known as a digital nomad, which means I work and travel. So in any given time, I'm in South America or Asia or Europe, still running my business, really getting to grow not only as a professional but as a person. And I think having that lifestyle freedom and being able to take control of what is it that I want my everyday to look like, and then reverse engineer that is such a liberating thing. So I spend a lot of my time helping other people actualize that goal as well. And it's really awesome.
Nice, especially the traveling part. When they get cold somewhere, you like, well, you know what? Let me just leave. I'll go somewhere else.
That's right.
That is wonderful. And I'm a designer for plus size also. Nina Monique Voluptuous Boutique. I'm going to launch that eventually. That led me into radio. So yes, we definitely going to talk too. So I want to start off because I'm hearing you guys have a lot, going on with your business and everything, from doing different things within your business. How do you guys manage your time? Because that's very important. I know I have a full-time job, and I just try to deal with getting up, going to work every day in my radio show, and that's a lot of work itself, because there's a lot of planning that goes into a radio show. Reaching out to guests, answering emails. Thankfully, I have Natasha Nurse who helps me with a lot. I greatly appreciate that.
Natasha, she's the woman.
I greatly appreciate that. And I just want to know, how do you manage all of your time, between your business and your personal life? Reverend Kimberly Jones. Clemons, sorry. It's Saturday. I'm sorry.
That's why I'm KC, because my name is way too long. So don't worry
Reverend
about it.
KC.
Yes.
We'll start with you.
Sure. So I do have a very, very full life. And I think Natasha has been helping me along the way as well. But I think it's about organization and having all of my projects accessible, but separated. And so when I'm focusing on the Wanted Project, for instance, I just move that file right to the middle, and I say, for the next hour or two, that's what I'm going to be focusing on.
Mm-hmm.
It's very difficult when you have so many things in your mind and you're jumping from one to another. And so for me, it's like there's a book called The Power of a Half an Hour.
Oh, yeah.
And I haven't even read the entire book, but just the 30-minute principle is amazing to me. And so I take those 30 minutes to deep dive into the area or the project that I'm supposed to be working on.
Mm-hmm.
And what I found is that I get a lot more done. Sometimes I don't, is the telephone.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I don't like.
Hello, caller. Hello.
Yes, can you hear me? Mm-hmm.
Yes, you can hear us, Leroy.
I can barely hear you all.
Okay. Is there like good reception where you're at? Because it looks like everything is good here.
Mm-hmm.
I'm speaking with the engineer.
Yeah, because I heard you ask about the importance of or how do you balance your time.
Right.
Yeah, and I would say this.
Hold on one
Go
second,
ahead.
Leroy. Because Reverend KC was elaborating on that, and we'll jump into you, okay, Leroy?
Oh, okay.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No problem.
Mm-hmm.
So what I found in doing things in 30-minute increments is that, I used to not want to do a project or do something in the project because I felt like I didn't have enough time,
Mm-hmm.
and I didn't want to leave it in the middle.
Yep.
But once I found out that 30 minutes is usually enough time to get some really good work done.
Mm-hmm.
And if I need a little bit more time, I'll put another 30 minutes on the clock. So that helps me with organizing and finding enough time for all of my projects.
Mm-hmm.
We really do have enough time to get things done. It's just a matter of our headspace.
That's very true. Because I know by the time I get off work, I am just completely done. Because I'm in investment banking, and it's a lot that go along with that. So by the time I get out of work, I am done. And then on top of that, I commute out of New York into New Jersey. So when I get on the bus, I'm like, oh my God. So, but that's a very true statement, being organized.
And if you just gave yourself 30 minutes, you'd be surprised at how much you can get done, even tired.
That's true. I'm a definitely have to do that. And what's the name of that book you mentioned?
The Power of a Half an Hour.
The Power of a Half an Hour. Okay. Leroy?
Yes. Uh-huh.
Okay. Can
you hear me?
Yep. Can you speak about time management and how you
Well,
manage your time?
Well, I think one of the things that how I approach my time, one is I understand that my time is my most valuable asset.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, it's about prioritizing the things that I need to get done within that window of the hours that I'm trying to get things done,
Right.
and how can I be most productive.
Mm-hmm.
And when I look at it from that perspective, it allows me to be able to say, okay, I need to get these things done this particular day or by this particular time, and then how can I best get that done? If I have a deadline that I'm trying to meet, of course, those things kind of move to the top of my list.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things that I learned from my pastor in time management was the night before my day, I take the three most important things that I need to get done the next day. And those three things have to get done before I can do anything else in my day.
Mm-hmm.
And once I get those three things done, then I can work from there. But those three things must get done, and I do that each day. Each day, the night before, there should be three things on my list that are must-dos in order for me to be able to get through my day. I can't do anything else until I do those three things. So it forces me to be able to, one, prioritize, but then two, to maximize my productivity and being able to get things done.
Mm-hmm. Okay, nice. I'm definitely, taking mental notes and writing some stuff down because I need that. Thank you, Leroy. And Miss Taylor Wallis, how about yourself?
I would say for me personally, the name of the game is automation.
Mm-hmm.
So looking at my day to day,
Mm-hmm.
figuring out how many things can I take the guesswork or the mental energy out of executing. So in any given day, a normal person might wake up and say, okay,
Mm-hmm.
what should I eat for breakfast? Okay, now what should I wear? Okay, now which way
That's
should
me.
I should I drive or should I take the bus? But by the time you actually get to your workspace, you're ready to get into what you actually need to do.
Mm-hmm.
You've maybe spent up like 50% of your mental energy on stuff that doesn't even matter. So
Very true.
So true.
right
Mhm.
off the bat, I know eat the same thing every day for breakfast.
Mm-hmm.
And it's awesome. You know, people are like, "Is that boring?" I'm like, no. Sometimes I'll throw in a banana. So that's my variety. You know, picking like, what are you gonna wear each day instead of focusing on how exciting can my wardrobe be.
Mm-hmm.
You got like 3 black dresses. You can't really tell the difference. Like
Mhm.
it's kind of like you see it in Mark Zuckerberg, Steve Jobs,
Mm-hmm.
all the most successful people, and you ask them, what is your day to day like, and they'll tell you the same thing.
Right.
Or you can revert, or I guess the term is divert, that energy into things that don't matter.
Mm-hmm.
And when you arrive at your desk, you are starting fresh mentally. And it's amazing how quickly you can get into that deep workflow. I think Rev Casey was Rev, I'm getting real comfortable. Reverend Casey
Absolutely.
was touching on this, with those 30-second increments of time. And the idea behind that is just giving yourself, whether it's 30 minutes or for me personally, it's 90 minutes, where the phone's off. If I don't need the internet's disconnected. I've got some browser add-ons that make it really difficult for me to turn my internet back on if I'm feeling weak. And it's just like you and whatever that task is that you have to get done. It's like 90 minutes. When you start to feel yourself, wandering or getting distracted, it's just like meditation. You don't yell at yourself or don't hit your hand or something. You just notice that you got distracted. Okay, I'm gonna turn it back to my work. And you should crank it out. It's just like so easy to make excuses about why we don't do the things that we need to do. And at the end of the day, it's like, not to sound super cliche, but just do it.
Right.
Don't sue me, Nike. It's real. You can't have it. It's real.
That's very true. Because I know when I'm sitting down doing something for my business, like you said, my mind starts to go. And I'm like, no, I have to get this done. Like, I can't just sit here and let my mind drift. I have stuff I have to get done. And it's so hard, like you said, because I'm like I was saying, I'm tired, but I know I have to get done. And the only thing I'm thinking about is my bed. But I also know that I have to get my work done, or so I could have a successful show.
Can I add something to that was really important for me? And sometimes we're very hard on ourselves, right? Oh, we didn't get this done. And so I'm big. I have this app called Evernote where I list what I'm supposed to do every day. And what I ended up seeing was it was never enough. At the end of the day, I could have 100 things on my list that still needed to be done. So I was focusing on those things that I didn't get done. And then instead, now I write work, or I forgot what I call it, but I said, I did this today, exclamation point. And I write down all of the things that I did. And I'm amazed at the end of the day or the end of the week. I'm like, I really am working hard. I'm doing this, I'm accomplishing it, and it makes me feel better. I don't know if it's a little trick of mine, but now that I know that I am getting things done, it's easier to get them done.
Yes,
So
definitely.
that has helped me tremendously.
And you said it's called Evernote.
Evernote, yes.
Okay.
Awesome tool.
Isn't it?
Oh.
Isn't it?
It is.
Okay. So what is it, like the notepad that's already in the iPhone, or is something more
I have
advanced?
iPhone. I'm a Droid person.
Okay.
So I don't know. But it is an app, and I mean, it just makes life easy. You can email from that app.
Really?
You can audio tape in your notes.
Really?
Yeah.
It's
So
like a
it's
very, very,
amazing.
very
Okay.
intelligent notebook.
Okay. Evernote. Okay.
Evernote.
And I
Definitely.
just want to kind of just like a little piggyback
Mm-hmm.
off piggyback.
Mm-hmm.
I think like the meta idea of celebrating the small wins it is so crucial because, like Reverend Casey said, when you have so much to do,
Mm-hmm.
it's so easy to focus on, the failures. So
Right.
what I actually started doing is in like the notebook.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, the notebook. I started actually working backwards. So every day I just write down like these littlest things that like I wrote that blog post that that's what I was going to do. Like I called my grandma and that's been on my like the littlest things.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, at the end of the week, you have this massive list of wins.
Mm-hmm.
And it's important to give yourself the kudos. Like you were, go ahead, girl. Like you were doing something. Like
Mhm.
you're running the race at your own pace, but you're making moves. And
I like that, running a race at your own pace. I like that. Very true. Thank you. I just got a whole lot of information from that. Thank you so much. What do you think is important? Like, what do you think are the most important things to run a business? Like, maybe three things, three of the most important things to have a successful business. Leroy, you heard the question?
Leroy.
Leroy? Leroy?
I'm here.
Oh, okay. What do you think are the most three important things to run a successful business?
Oh, wow. Great question. I think the three most important things, I think, is your understanding your vision.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Having a structured plan,
Mm-hmm.
and then the implementing of your plan.
Mm-hmm.
Being strategic, understanding your process, having a process in place for you to be able to maximize your impact that you're going to have, and knowing what problem it is that you solve.
Mm-hmm. So you said vision and understanding your process, and what was the last one? I'm sorry.
The third thing was the implementation of your plan or your process.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Of plan and process, definitely.
Well, I'm sorry, but I'm sorry. I did say knowing what answer, what problem. I'm sorry, what problem you have the answer for.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I was trying to say it.
Yeah.
What problem do you solve as a business?
I was not too long ago looking at a video that was online, and it included someone named Damon Dash. Yeah. And he was saying one of the most important things on running a successful business is knowing how to untie the knots that come along with your business. And when he said that, I was like, that's very, very important. You have those knots that come along with your business, you have to know how to untie them. And if you don't know how to untie them, your business is going to fail. And he was saying how if you don't know about your own business, that's a serious problem. What are you trying to accomplish? What is it? What are your products? Why do you want people to come to you? And it was when he said that, it rang with me, because I was like, that's a good way of putting it. You have to know how to untie the knots that come with your business. So definitely, thank you, Leroy.
Absolutely.
What about you, Reverend Casey?
So I like the wording of untying the knots, right? Because I think it has to do a lot with confidence.
Yes.
Confidence.
Yes.
One area of confidence that I am still working on is charging what you're worth, and not being afraid to up that price, fearing that no one will take you on. As a coach.
Yes.
And so that has been difficult for me, and so I do feel like that that's personal development work, and that's work with your own coach, saying you are worth the time, the money, and everything that you put into your business, and it's okay to charge what you are worth.
Exactly. Yes.
I guess another thing would be saying yes. I love Shonda Rhimes' book, My Year of Yes. And I did do that, and I stepped out into some places that I thought I'd never be, because I said yes. So I think in your business, not downplaying how much you're worth, also saying yes to those things, or even pursuing those things that you thought you'd never pursued before, because you know their yes is right around the corner for you as well. Let me see. The third important thing: organization and time management. Absolutely, organization and time management is essential for running your own business.
That's very, very important, and you hit a very serious spot with me when you said charge what you're worth, because I know someone who make baskets that's very close to me, and the baskets are beautiful, and she put a lot of work into it, and to me it looks, and to her it's like I want to charge like about maybe $30 for this, but when we sit down and think about it, she's like, but people probably not going to buy it because they don't know who I am, and things like that. So she'll knock a $30 basket down to about maybe 10, 15.
Oh no.
Yeah.
No.
Exactly. So I try to encourage her. You have to charge the amount, one, that you spend on the material for the basket, and two, for the time that you put into it, because you love it.
That's right.
And three, when people meet you, they're going to see the reflection of your work in you. If you a loving person and you love doing what you're doing, making your baskets, people going to see that. So it'll be worth it.
Yeah.
So, that's very important what you said. Charge
And
what you're worth.
think about coaches that don't have like a physical product. It's easy for me to sell my books because they're physical product, and I charge what I put into it. But as for coaching, the ethereal kind of thing of giving advice and listening and helping lead people, it's hard to put a price on that, because you always feel like you should be giving it away for free sometimes. So very difficult.
That was good. And I hope she's listening to this too. And how about you, Ms. Taylor Wallis? 3 important things you want to say.
So both Leroy and the Reverend him, a lot of good ones. I'm gonna dig a little deeper, I guess, for me personally. I think the first thing that comes to mind, and that is such a key differentiator in this day and age, is emotional intelligence. Like, that is the name of the game. It is probably one of my greatest passions right now. So emotional intelligence, EQ, is summarized as, I guess, let's see, five concepts. I remember it as MES cubed. So the M is motivation, E is empathy, the first S is social awareness, social regulation, social awareness, self-awareness, and self-regulation. And the meta idea of emotional intelligence is understanding your idiosyncrasies, if you will, how and who you are as a person, and how those things combine to shape the way that you interact with the people around you. And as a business owner, your ability to read a room, to read a person, to read an investor is what's going to make or break the success of your business. And so whether it's building a team, fundraising, networking, if you're talking to someone and their eyes are glazing over and you just keep on that person's probably not going to be responding to your emails or LinkedIn messages. So in terms of someone who's first starting out, building a business, I would say that is one of the first the levels of personal development that I would recommend investing in, because it is for sure an 80-20. Something on top of that, I think, is being very, very clear on your values before you get started. Everything's all kind of Skittles and rainbows when it's, you and your friend in the basement working on something. You're like, this is probably not going to turn into anything. Then those checks start rolling in and investors start having opinions. And if you don't have solid footing from the jump, it's really easy to get distracted by the dollar signs or the voices over here or over there. But when you have that very clear list of your values, and again, I literally have it written in the front page of my book. I'm like, what are my values? When I have, like a situation that I'm really torn about, I'll always consult this list. Does this align with my highest self?
Right.
If the answer is no, I don't do it. There's no point of like mulling over it and spending a week and like that. Nope, this violates rule number 3. That's a no for me, but thank you. And I guess the third thing is staying curious. I think that is something that has caused a lot of businesses to fail. From startups to look at Blockbuster. They're like, nah, we're good. We got this industry. They stop being curious. They stop wanting to know what else is out there. Like, how can we be better? How can we be stronger? How can we be more competitive? And if you're not growing, you're dying. It's so cliche, but it's so real.
No, it's true. It's true because a lot of things are changing. Like every day is something new and different coming about, and it's like, but that's why when it comes to, for example, iPhones and Apple, I'm like, I'm not going out to get a new phone because by the time I get it, a new one will be coming out. And for me, I'm like, I'm happy with my little 6 Plus.
Yes.
And even though the battery run out soon as I, unplug it, I'm still happy with it.
Right.
I'm still happy with it because
got that charger.
Everything. Because everything constantly changed. This, is upgraded. A new company or some social media site is doing something, so it's taken away from a physical business or something. So it's like everything changing. Like you said, businesses have to keep up with it.
Sure.
Like me, I'm not a social media person. Like it, Natasha, I'm sorry. I know you listening, but
we love Natasha.
Yes. I am not a social media person. When it first started, it was fun.
Yeah.
But then it's just to get on social media every day and to constantly post. I'm like, oh my God, Natasha, I know you're gonna say something after the show ends, but I'm because I could say she tries to get me to post frequently, and I'm like, I it's just hard for me because I'm just not a social media person, and I know it's definitely important to have for a business.
Right.
And when you go back, for example, let's say the 90s, you really had to be well known to be on TV, your craft, your talent, whatever it was. That was your, what moved your exactly. Now you have to try and keep up with social media.
I mean,
So
I think that ties in actually very well with knowing your values. It's also knowing your strengths and your weaknesses. I think
that's
again,
definitely my weakness.
going back to the startup mindset, it's a tendency to want to do everything yourself, like keep things lean. And there's a really thin line between like lean and stupid. Your business relies on top of the line, like the best of the best digital marketing. You need to be hitting every channel, and you don't know how to use Snapchat. It's probably not something that you should be doing, but instead should be delegating to someone else. And I think that's another trap, it's wanting to control everything and micromanage.
Yes.
But if that's not your strength, delegate.
Exactly.
Just kind of stay in your lane, and the whole organization is better for you.
Exactly. That's what I do. Yes, because I'm like, that's the biggest thing for me. Everything else, I'm okay with. But when it comes to that social media, I'm like, oh God, yes. Because, thank you.
I got you.
With the followers, and I'm like, okay. So I let Natasha handle that one.
But what I have found is with Natasha. Hey, Natasha. Is that she has forced me to come out of my shell. So
Yes.
I am nowhere near doing what she tells us to do, right? But once a week, I do my Tapping Tuesdays, and I'm surprised at myself.
Mm-hmm.
So she is getting us at least out of our shell,
Yes,
and then
yes.
if it becomes too much where we are, definitely help getting
Yes.
getting help.
Yes.
I have a team of people who don't know each other, like they don't know they're the team, or outsourcing this person and outsourcing this person, but I to run a business you need
Yes.
people. You need
Yes.
people who know what they're doing.
Yes.
So you can spend your time doing exactly what God has called you to do.
Yes.
And I still need more people.
Mhm.
It's just an
Yeah.
ongoing cycle.
Mm-hmm.
But with the few people that I do have in my corner and with my business, it's been amazing.
Yes. Yes, definitely. You need those trusted people. Definitely. Leroy?
Yes, absolutely. I hear you all talking about social media
Mhm.
and the importance of it or the use of social media. I'll tell you a funny story because I was the same way about social media. I'm like, look, I ain't got time for all this. I'm trying to be on here, trying to do all of those things, and my marketing coach, or I should say my marketing consultant, when we first started talking about how we would be able to increase my exposure and to be able to, kind of get my brand out there and everything like that, she challenged me to do 3 posts a day.
Oh, sound like Natasha. Yeah.
I was to do 1 in the morning, 1 in the afternoon, and then 1 in the evening.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I'm huffing and puffing the whole way because, like, look, I ain't got time to be doing this. I'm trying to work. So, so I started doing it, and it became a part of my regular routine.
Mm-hmm.
And I even took it even a step further where my post, I defined what the different posts would be. My post in the morning is something motivational to kind of get people going.
Mm-hmm.
The one in the afternoon has to do with something business oriented, whether it has to do with my business, if I'm going to be somewhere, or a tip of the day, something like that, a product or service that I may be offering, that kind of thing in the afternoon. And then in the evening, I do what's called the evening conversation.
Mm-hmm.
It has nothing to do with anything. It just has to do with me trying to engage people and doing something fun, doing something light and fun. And with that, I'll take different different things and kind of give people choices that they have to make. Just to give you a quick example, the other day I did a thing between 2 artists. I had 2 singers. I'll take singers, entertainers, movies, whatever, and I'll pitch them against each other, and I'll make people to kind of get a discussion about which one would you choose, who would you do this with, and if you had a singer, let's take Mary J. Blige against Jill Scott. The evening conversation would be you have this event coming up, and you can they're both coming into town, and you can only go to one of their concerts. It's on the same night. Which one do you go to? That's the evening conversation.
Okay.
So it would be about which one would you go see, who, kind of who, why, just to get people engaged. And what I found by doing the 3 the 3 posts throughout the day, it got people engaged with me. And I even have people now who, when I do the evening conversation especially, they're like, oh, how you going to do that? How you going to have this person against that person? That's not right. I did Maxwell against, who was it? Oh, my gosh, I can't remember. I did Maxwell against,
Right.
I can't even think of who I pitched them against, but it was just really great.
Maxwell.
And I get people just kind of, I get people, people like, oh, that's a great, I can't choose between both of them. I can't choose. I'm not going to pick one. But, those things, it just got people very engaged with me. And it's been a way for me to kind of increase my exposure, I found. So it's a viable tool that is great for, that can be used for business owners and entrepreneurs to be able to grow your brand, to gain some exposure, and to use it. Now, you got folks out there that just use it just to be using it. But if you have a plan and you're strategic about using it, it can actually assist you in growing your brand. And it's for the most part, it's free marketing.
Right.
So why not take advantage of it?
Very true.
Can I ask you guys what social media channels do you predominantly utilize?
Mine is Instagram and the Facebook page for the Nina Monique Show. So it's basically those two that utilize the most for me. Mm-hmm.
I do Facebook mostly. I'm old school. Facebook's old school. Facebook, and then I have a Facebook group, and I'm starting to learn Instagram a lot more. So, and I do Twitter, but not enough.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
I think we can talk for hours on social media. If anyone has social media questions, it's one of my
Nice.
But I guess just the meta thing to kind of keep in your mind is specifically with Instagram and Facebook, and specifically with Instagram and Facebook, they are constantly changing their algorithms to try and make the experience more organic for their users, which is great for the users. But as business owners, that's something you need to be on top of. So going back to not being able to wear every hat as the business owner, that's a full-time job for someone to be keeping up with Owler or something, where every morning you get an email like, Instagram just changed this. So make sure you're only using 11 hashtags instead of 30, because that's going to actually drive your post down. All these little things, and every 18-year-old with a computer is now Instagram consultant, and it's so easy to they're only charging me $100 a month and they're managing my account. Just posting a picture every day in this thing, in this space is no longer enough. It is a science to maximizing those social media channels, and that's definitely something worth investing in and making sure you.
Oh yeah, I can definitely say that because like I mentioned, Natasha manages my Instagram page for my radio show, the Nina Monique Show, and I could post something, I get maybe 16 likes, but then she'll come with a post and she words it perfectly. She used the right hashtags, and I be looking at it and I'm like, okay, let me try and do what she do, and I try it still don't work, but she'll go and post something and it'll give 30, 40 likes or something, and it'll keep growing. So I definitely see there is a science and a technique to it, and I try to learn it by looking at her posts, and I'm like, what am I doing wrong? Am I not sensitive? Like, what's going on? So definitely social media plays a very important part in running your business. Oh gosh, yeah, that's a whole topic on its own.
It really is. It really is.
So moving on to something else, what do you think the mindset is to be a successful CEO? Taylor, you want to start with that one? Okay.
If you haven't noticed already, I typically like to speak in quotes, little nuggets where you can just keep it in your mind. The biggest thing, I think, from a mindset perspective is you don't know what you don't know. And I think that is so important to always remember, no matter how you may have like the number one, company or be the number one business in your space. You may be speaking on Oprah, writing books, like whatever. At the end of the day, there's always more to learn.
Yes.
And the second that you forget that, not only does it impact your growth as a person, but as a leader, as a visionary for your company. So I think that mindset, again, of always seeking to be better, be more present, be more like hungry. Like you're tired, but this networking event, and you know that this investor that you've been trying to block down is going to be there, and screening your calls. You're like, I'm coming for you. So it's just you have to always keep that hunger, but always make sure that you're taking the time to take care of yourself.
Right.
And that looks different for everybody. For some of my friends, it's on Sundays I watch Netflix and order a pizza and eat it in my bed. I'm like, that's awesome. Like if that's how you recharge, you do you.
Exactly.
For me, I'm really big into meditation, mindfulness, yoga. But to figuring out what your thing is, not what some guru tells you your thing should be, and making sure that no matter what, you're taking care of yourself first. It's just like when you're riding on an airplane.
Yes.
Put your oxygen mask on first before you turn off your child. I'm like, I'm gonna make sure my baby's
exactly.
I don't have a baby, but I imagine as a mother that would be my mindset.
Right.
But it's real, because if you pass out, then not only do you fail, but you're failing the life of your child. So I think it's really hard sometimes to separate yourself from your business, because you do view it as your child, as your baby, and you're willing to make sacrifices for that baby.
Yep.
But you got to know when to draw the line and know the telltale signs of like, okay, I'm burning out before you hit that.
Right.
Has anyone seen Taylor? Last I heard, she has a post on social media. Must be real.
That's right.
So,
That's right.
just like constantly checking in with yourself.
Right.
And giving yourself the space to grow as a person and as a professional, and not just focusing on one track.
Right. Yes, definitely. I agree with that. Leroy, how about you?
Now, can you repeat the question, because I want to make sure I heard it correctly?
What do you think is like the most important mindset to have as a CEO?
To have as an entrepreneur CEO?
Yes.
I'm gonna give you two. I'm gonna give you a mentality, a mentality and a mindset. I believe we have to have a win type of mentality, which is, and win stands for we must be willing to work. We must want to impact, and then we must have a never stop believing mindset. We got to come to work. We got to want to have an impact, positive impact, I should say, and then we've got to have a never stop believing mentality, because as I'm quite sure your other guests that are there can attest to, as well as you, this entrepreneurship journey is not for everybody. No. It will have you on your knees. It'll knock you down, and it'll have you nights crying, wondering why you ever even thought about doing something like this.
Taylor over here laughing. I guess that's speaking to her.
Do I really want to do this? All of those things. So you have to have a win mentality.
Yes.
And then the other thing is what I call a leader mindset. And leader stands for you must always be learning. You must always you must always be learning. You must execute. You must be assisting. You must be developing. You must be empowering, and you must look to gain results or get positive results. Yes. So those are the two things that I believe having those characteristics as an entrepreneur you should possess and have.
Most definitely. Yes, especially the empowering part, because I love to try and empower people. I think that's what I love about radio. When I was listening to the radio, even though a lot of people may not be on her side right now, but Monique was on the radio with the Breakfast Club with DJ Envy, Charlamagne, and Angela Yee, and she was yelling at Charlamagne because he said something crazy, and she was like, you have to understand the importance of when you open up that microphone in the morning, of the poison that you put in the ears of your community.
All right.
So when she said that, I was like, exactly. I was like, having a microphone and a platform to be able to bring people like you guys on and to talk about your business and to use that information to spread to, you know, people who want to start their own business, especially people of color, to empower and encourage and inspire people to, you know, go out and do whatever it is that you want to do. And that's what I love most about, you know, being in radio. It's, you have that power. And I love that power, you know, to be someone who could provide some type of inspiration to someone. I love that. I love that. Reverend Casey, how about you?
So again, it has, you know, already been said, but I would think for me, the number one thing is never give up, right? You're going to go through bad times. You're going to go through uncertain times. You're going to go through the broke times. And never give up. The second thing is, and I think it has been said over and over again, is remember your vision. And remember your values as well. It's easy for me not to give up because I love what I do, right? And I want to help women and children. And every time I think about quitting something because it's too hard, and for me, it's usually because I don't have enough help. And I'm doing it all by myself. I have to remember the youth that I'm serving through the Wanted Project, and I have to remember the women that I'm counseling and coaching who come back and say, "Oh, thank God you were there." So the feedback is, you know, is very helpful. And the third thing is going to totally contradict the first thing of never give up, but I want to say it's okay to give up and make changes, let's just say. Right? Restructure, because what we always want to do is like stick to our guns, and change is part of life.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And so we have to be willing to let a concept go in order to see another concept that could better propel us forward.
Yes.
So I think those are my three things.
Yes. Thank you. Before we go any further, Leroy,
Yes.
I'm going to let you go. I appreciate you calling in, and whenever you're in New York, you make sure you come by here, okay?
You know it. That is a promise. You know, I'm definitely going to be doing that, and I'm going to be watching you all on live on Facebook. So, I'll definitely still be tuned in.
Okay. Thank you
Nice
so
meeting
much
you.
for calling in, Leroy.
Absolutely, and everybody in the studio, y'all have a great rest of your day, and be unstoppable. That's what it's about.
Right.
Yes.
Amen.
Your hashtag. Before you go,
Yes.
tell everyone about your hashtag, Be Unstoppable.
Well, real quick, Be Unstoppable is actually one of my mantras that I have, and I started it last year. But it's taking on the mindset that no matter what we go through, no matter the obstacles that we have, that we believe that we are unstoppable in whatever it is that we're going to be doing it. And then it's a mindset. It's not just a hashtag. It's a mindset that we take on. It's a lifestyle that we understand.
Yes,
that trials are going to come. They're going to be turbulence that we get, but believing that you're unstoppable means that you're going to can get through anything. So it's something that is really caught on. I have individuals that are actually also giving their Be Unstoppable moments that they kind of have given me testimonies about. So it's really awesome, really great.
Nice. Be unstoppable. Yes, I wrote that down, and I
Be
still
unstoppable.
and I have it in my text that you sent. So definitely, I appreciate everything that you said today. Thank you so much, Leroy.
Absolutely, and thank you for having me. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye.
All right, have a good one.
You too. Go ahead.
So on top of the, I guess, mindset of CEOs, someone just answered a question, which was, how do you handle stress and make sure that this doesn't flow down to your company and your employees being in that position of leadership? So I can speak to my experience, and I'm sure you have more experience. And we have a team of 5.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a little different.
Hold on one second. Let me
Of course.
pick up. Oh, okay. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No worries. So I think at the end of the day, the most important thing to remember is in your business, as the CEO, you are the captain of the ship.
Yes.
So when things aren't going right,
Mm-hmm.
first of all, you need to kind of take a step back and understand the root cause of the problem.
Mm-hmm.
So when orders are getting shipped late, or quality is down, or trying to think of like other examples of things that are like systemic issues, at the end of the day, that's on you. And you want to build a team that is going to help kind of share that burden and build a team of people that you trust and that you know have the competency to execute as you would in those situations.
Mm-hmm.
But for me personally, I have a mindset of just like complete ownership. Even if, let's say, like an intern publishes something that was not at all what should have been published, and you know it causes. It's like, well, where were you? Why weren't you there to proofread it before it went out? Why weren't you there to, you know, spend more time with this, you know, employee so that they know what you're expecting of them? And so, I guess to kind of answer the question more succinctly, it comes back to that emotional intelligence. So you need to be aware of what's going on in your head. So if you're about to have a freak out, take yourself.
Hello, can you hear me?
Go get some ice cream.
Hi. 1 second. I'm sorry. Ibrima?
Hey, this is Ibrahim. What's going on?
Hey, how are you? Hold on 1 second, okay?
No problem. Take your
Okay.
time.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go
Oh,
ahead.
no worries. I mean, so, yeah. Self-awareness, self-regulation. Feel like coming. Do what you need to do to be the leader that you need to be if you're running a company.
Mm-hmm.
So go for a run. Again, get some ice cream.
Oh, yeah.
And
Ice cream is
yeah.
my
and you know, get back in the room and you're immediately back and say, okay, how do we fix this? So I hope that helps answer the question a little bit. Perfect, Casey.
Repeat the question again.
So it's just, how do you handle stress and make sure that the stress doesn't trickle down to your employees as CEO?
Yes. So, for me, I go back to my spiritual disciplines or the coaching. I have a technique called EFT. I don't have a technique. It's called a technique called EFT, Emotional Freedom Techniques, and it's when you're tapping on your acupressure points, and it helps immediately relieve the tension around that issue that you're tapping on. So I do that all of the time. If I'm nervous in the car, I'm tapping. I'm tapping. If I'm, you know, in a meeting and I'm nervous, I'm under the table tapping. And so tapping helps release that anxiety that we all feel from different situations. And so I tap, I meditate, I release and receive, which is a meditation that I always start my workshops off doing, which is, you know, what do I release today? Hands up. What are you releasing? Hands down, rather. What are you releasing today? Followed by hands up. What are you receiving today? So I always access the divine.
Yes.
Whenever I
Yes.
feel overwhelmed and I
Yes.
need to take a run, because I'm not going to take a run. But running for me is very similar to doing EFT or meditation and prayer.
So you said hands down
Yes.
is
So I lead my clients. I don't know if you want to do it now, but you'll feel the atmosphere change. So you close your eyes and your hands are down over your lap, and you say, "Today I release," and you name it, and you keep saying, "Today I release." So today I release anxiety. Today I release fear. Today I release, until you release all of that, and then you turn your hands up in the receiving position and say, "Today I receive. Today I receive. Today I receive." And you go through that list, and so what it does is it not only changes the atmosphere, you'll feel it change the atmosphere, but also what it does is it gives you the intention when you go outside So, for instance, I don't like driving. I think people are crazy driving, and so I get all uptight. So today I would have released, tension when driving, crazy people getting in my way. So if that person does come to me, and usually doesn't, but you have the intention, I released that today. I released that today. I received joy and peace, and it reminds you and it puts you right back to what you received. So I do that across the board.
So it's almost like being grateful or gratitude.
It's giving away that stuff that we don't want to get
and receiving the positive stuff. Yes.
The positive,
I
absolutely.
like that. Oh, yeah, we're going to talk after the show. Ibrahima? Hello?
Yes, hello?
Hello, how are you?
Hey, I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm great. So what I want to do with you is I want you to introduce yourself to everyone, and then we're going to get into your nonprofit and your award show.
All right, excellent. Give me 1 second. Let me connect my headphones really fast, if you don't mind.
That was good. Yes, I like that. Yeah.
It works.
A fellow tacker.
Yes! Let me tell you, it is wonderful.
In the grocery store,
In that line, right? Yep. Having it is absolutely amazing.
Oh, I like that.
My clients love it too. Yeah.
Because if you think about it, I find myself doing that a lot.
You're doing it,
But I
anyway.
never knew that's
You're
what it
doing
was.
Hello?
this.
I do that too.
You're doing this. This is the tapping point. This is the tapping
Hello?
point. You know what we do.
Really? Oh, hello.
Yeah, hello, can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you.
All right, perfect.
Yeah, so tell everyone about yourself and your award show and your nonprofit.
All right.
Oh,
excellent.
but before you start, let me just say, this gentleman on the phone, we have a mutual friend. Her name is Makiba, and she nominated me for the I Have a Dream Award, which this young man started. And it's when I seen it, I was like, wow, like I did have a dream, and I'm actually executing it. So when I heard about it, I was like, this is wonderful. So and I also sat on a panel with him last year. If you remember that, we sat on the panel and we was talking about your Where Is Taz app that you had or that you have. So this gentleman right here, he's amazing. So tell everyone about yourself and your nonprofit and your award gala.
I mean, I don't know if I can beat an introduction like that. That was but I just do the whole run through. I guess my name is Ibrahima Endor. I am I'm just actually turning 26. My birthday was just on May 12th. I mean April 12th. Excuse me. What am I talking about?
Happy belated birthday.
2 days ago. Yeah. So thank you. I started Where's Taz for the community. I started it actually because of the initial app that I'm building for the animal community. But the I Have a Dream Award Gala, it built, and it was a deeper touch for me, and I felt like it was something that needed to be brought into the community. We've been losing too many youth recently. I mean, myself personally, I've lost 6 people due to suicide and other, and those are all of those dreams that are lost. And the I Have a Dream Awards Gala is to promote and actually build up the youth and the next generation to become future leaders. This way, actually promoting them to go to school, promoting kids to actually want to have an education and believe that they can hold a scholarship in their hand and have a choice whether or not they want to put that towards their own dreams.
Nice, very nice.
Yeah.
Now, is it just with the award show? Is it just you that came up with it, or was it someone else behind it also? Or
to build the I Have a Dream, the Where's Taz team, I can't take anything away from my team. They pull me out of holes left and right, and they're always there for me. So It was a collective effort basically.
Very nice. I love
Yeah.
the meaning behind it because, like you said, it's very important that we empower the youth. And like you
Absolutely.
said, whenever a young person pass away, we lose someone who could have been the next president or something like that. So
Yeah.
I definitely salute you on your I Have a Dream Awards and gala. Like I was blown away by it. It's truly remarkable. And also I thank you for having me as someone to receive an award from your award show. Thank you so much.
No, that's it's an honor. I mean, the fact that I'm actually here on the show right now, I'm actually kind of geeking out right now. I'm really excited. So it's an honor to have you at the gala to start off.
Thank you. Thank you. Now, tell me about Where is Taz? You said it was for the animal community, and this was due to something personal, right?
Yeah, I mean, I guess the entire the app and the nonprofit as well. They both drive from personal experiences. For the app itself, it's going to be an animal locator. It was built off of my experience of losing Taz. Taz is a pit bull of mine. One day, I was the dog owner with the mindset that I'll never lose my dog. It'll never happen. That'll never go away. So he's always going to be fine. One day, 4 a.m. in the morning, Taz was running around in the living room. The next morning at 8 a.m., my brother was pulling me out of bed like, "Where's Taz? We got to find him." And I was like, "What do you mean, where is Taz?" He said, "Where is Taz? Where you got to go?" And we started looking all over, and we couldn't find him anywhere. And when we finally found him, he was in a pet shelter, and it was pretty run down as well. And they told me that if I didn't find him by the end of the day, they were going to put him down, and that's a piece of my family. Just like the I Have a Dream Gala. These kids are family members. These kids are friends and are deep connections to people. And all these lives that we're losing, and people it's become a norm now. If you look on the media, if you look at it, they'll say, "Oh, this black child has passed away. This other child has died. These people have taken their lives," and everybody's just like, "Wow, it happened again." And when was that ever a norm?
Right.
So there has to be some type of connection. There has to be some type of common ground for the elder generation to speak with the youth and try to stop this mindset that your sexuality shouldn't be a reason why you want to take your life.
Right.
You being in school shouldn't be a reason why you want to take your life. Bullying should have been absolved a long time ago, but that's another thing that we need to work on. And I feel like the people who have actually become established and have gotten themselves to a certain point, just as you and I, we need to now take a step back and build these kids up. That's why we're starting to add the WIT administrator program, the WIT ambassadors program in the summer, where we're going to actually take on some kids with parents' permission, of course, and build them up and start getting them interested in becoming business owners. Because there's nothing more powerful in holding than building your own and actually seeing that thrive.
Yes, I agree. Reverend Casey, that falls in line with what you're also doing, similar to your Wanted program, right?
Absolutely.
Yes. I think, honestly, again, that's what I love about being in radio. I'm able to bring people like yourself and Ibrima on the phone, because I think it's very important that we give them. For example, I remember when the Cosby Show was out, and you had the Cosby Show, and you had Good Times. And when you hear people say they couldn't relate to the Cosby Show because that wasn't my lifestyle, and I always say that's because it was never exposed to us. So I definitely want to be one to expose people like you, people like Taylor, and people like Ibrima, because it's very important that our communities see that we do exist. We do want to help. We do want to pass on strong messages, and not only pass on strong messages, but actually have hands-on, time with people and everything. So, definitely what you're doing is remarkable. And like I said, I'm thankful that I'm part of, one of your honorees for the award. Thank you so much again.
No, Yeah, you're absolutely welcome. And I won't even lie to you. You just put the theme song. All I'm thinking in my head now is scratching and surviving good times. But definitely though, I do appreciate it. Definitely, and being on the radio. I hope that my voice is radio worthy.
Yes,
I was told.
It
I was
is.
told I had to fix the radio. I'm joking. But,
I have
no.
a quick question for you because it's one of the questions that we was talking about in the beginning of the show about time management. Because as you mentioned, you're 26.
Yep.
You're also going to school to get your degree.
Yep.
And you also have a whole lot of events coming up also that I wanted to get into. How do you manage your time being 26 years old, and you have all of this going on? How do you find time for yourself to enjoy being 26?
honestly, sometimes I take the time to look back and I'm like, do I even get to enjoy this age anymore? But it's the pride that you get from actually building something that you made. I work for a corporate IT firm. I'm working Monday through Friday, 9 to 6. After 9 to 6, as soon as I get off work, I'm on the phone in the car working on where it's at, catching up with my team, seeing what's going on, pushing for the next step. On the weekends and at later at night on Tuesdays and Thursdays and Saturdays, I'm taking my classes, and Sundays I'm just starting off. There's a church in Montclair that I go and I do AV for them, and after that I go right back into where it's at and I do things like that. So it always just, when it comes to time management, you gotta love to be a busybody. I know. Earlier I heard someone saying that I missed the name, but I heard someone saying that they love running. I used to be in track and field, and running all day was my passion. I was like always obsessed with just not being still. So just being completely active is a great thing for me. I feel like it's therapy.
Oh, very nice. Okay, yeah.
Like 26.
Yeah, right. Because give yourself 10 years from that.
10 years from now, I'm probably gonna look back like, what was I doing?
But you'll be able to. I'm sure you'll be able to sit back and, like Taylor said, you'll be able to delegate stuff because you'll be in that position to do so.
Absolutely.
So,
Absolutely.
yeah. Yes.
And I feel like it's a message to all youth. I know 20s are very tempting for you to want to go out and enjoy yourself, and nobody's saying don't do it. Yesterday, honestly, the CFO for my team dragged me out to go to a party that did not work out because I was like, as soon as I got there, I was like, but wait, we have so much to do, and he was like, you know what? Let's just go back home. But even when it comes to it, it's like nobody's saying don't have fun, don't take out. But instead of going out every single weekend, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, take one Sunday, or no, not one Sunday, one Saturday every. We can't take one Sunday. That's gonna be that's definitely a no-no. But one Saturday maybe every 2 weeks, and just go out and enjoy yourself, debrief, and then get right back on the grind. Go in and work. Get what you need. Make sure your dream comes true. Live that dream.
Yes, very, very true. I like that. Now, you mentioned your Sean Wade. He's the CFO, right?
Yes.
So, we was also talking about building your team, also having a team behind you. How many people do you have on your team, if you don't mind me asking?
I have, to be honest with you, my team went up and down, and this is probably one of the biggest things that I've struggled with since starting a business. I know when we were on the file of Kisme, one thing I asked him, I was like, hey Kisme, how did you get your point to building your team to where it is now? And he told me you just have to look. It takes time. It's something that you don't look at. Oh, and I'll even give you a little bit of a background for me when it came to building my team. I was so desperate to have a team, I was taking anybody anywhere. And I just kept on seeing, like, why isn't this working out? Is it me? Is it me? But then it came to the point that you can't build people based on what you want. You have to build people on your team based on what you need.
Right.
And, and to this point, I went from 2 people to 6 people to 7 people to 2 people again. And now we're just going to can go and build on up. And we also have assistants with marketing, but when it comes to it, it's just like it's just us right now going up against it.
Wow, you learning a lot so young. So by the time you hit your 30s, you're gonna be a pro at a lot of stuff. Cause I know for me, like starting out when I had my clothing line, it was myself and someone named Tiffany Shepherd, who I'm still friends with. And we still, whenever we can, talk about the Nina Monique clothing line. And then there's Natasha that joined, that was helping with social media and helping me build content for the website. And then there was two people who's going to be on my next show, Kim and Janet from the Martini Factory, who was helping me as far as getting samples for the clothes and everything like that. So I've been blessed to be able to stick with, some of the people that I already have. I haven't had that experience yet, and that's the part that scares me. Because you have to be able to hire and fire people.
Yeah.
And and I try to keep in mind of other people need the experience and things like that, but it gets to a point where if they're not doing their job, you have to release them, because eventually you're going to be babysitting them, and what you're delegating, eventually you're going to have to go back and check. So I definitely, understand that part, and I think that's why it takes so long for me to venture out and try and add new things onto my plate, because the elements that go into a business, I'm like, well, if I can't do it, I'm just not going to deal with that right now.
Yeah.
And you can't do that, like you said. You have to be able to delegate. So I definitely understand that part. Is there anything else you wanted to talk about?
I mean, I just want to get everybody excited. I know. I'm sitting here still geeking out, but I mean, one thing that you just said to me did really resonate with me. When it comes to delegating what people have to do and all that stuff, it's sometimes it just has to. You just have to really sit back and say, like, they weren't ready.
Yeah.
They didn't. We're already there. We already have the mindset that, you know what, this is what we want to do. This is where we want to go, and we want to save the world. We want to bring everybody there, but they're not ready. So you have to. That's why I'm trying to venture out now, especially with the summer coming. I'm ready to launch a whole bunch of different. We have so many different programs. We're ready to launch for the summer for Where's Taz, and we're going to bring in and target the youth mainly. We want to make sure that they're going into high school with the mindset, getting ready for this and getting ready to start into becoming their own bosses, and not just going to slave themselves or kill themselves just to build someone else's dream.
Yeah, very important.
Yeah.
Yes. Anyone want to jump into what he said, or?
I just have a question. Where is Brian?
He's from Newark. You're in Newark, right?
Okay.
Yeah, I'm located in Newark, New Jersey.
Oh, okay. Because I wanted to invite you to come and speak to our young men, but we're in Long Island. That might be quite a hike for you.
Oh, that's
But
all right. He
we'll
goes
be in touch.
all over the world.
That's what I was saying. I was like, the only reason I'm not there right now, laughing, smiling with you guys, is because I'm actually traveling right now. I definitely wouldn't mind.
Okay, fantastic. We'll be in.
Yes,
we'll be in touch.
Send me the information, and we'll set up a day.
Absolutely. Yes. Thank you.
Ibrima, are you familiar at all with the Founders Organization?
For the Founders Organization?
Yeah. Under like Gerard Adams and.
I'm sorry.
Like Founders, it's like a social incubator for like entrepreneurs based out of Newark. Are you familiar with that organization at all?
Oh no, I actually I've heard the name before. I know that, and I also know the if I'm not mistaken, it's the Future Leaders, the Raj Baraka's program for the youth.
Yep. Yeah.
Is the owner of the program named Anthony?
Anthony. I know Anthony. Trying to think if he's the owner of the program. I think that there might be a few different legs to it, but we can connect off air. I think that there's some people that I'd like to introduce you to, My network
Okay.
in Newark. I came through there a little bit.
You
Early
a traveling
2017.
bee, aren't you? I will. Her lifestyle.
Lived on Clinton Street. No, looking up.
Ibrima, is your ticket still available, or did you close the site, the Eventbrite down for the tickets?
For the no, you're still able to purchase a ticket right now. We were going to close the Eventbrite down, but we had a couple of people that were actually looking to do purchase new tickets. So we're gonna leave it live until the end of the weekend, and then we're gonna shut it down.
Okay. Can you tell everyone where to get tickets from for your gala?
I'm sorry.
Can you tell everyone where to get tickets from for your gala?
Absolutely, absolutely. So you can go straight onto the Eventbrite and type in the I Have a Dream Gala, and we will our tickets will pop up right away. You can also follow us on Instagram at Where Is Taz, and that's going to be WhereIzTaz, or you can follow my Instagram directly, which is EBSIN_2551. And from there, as soon as you DM me, we'll get you situated and send out and launch the and we'll get you a live ticket. We'll make it happen for you guys to get in.
Yay! Yay! Well, thank you so much for calling in. Is there anything else you wanted to talk about before you go?
No. Besides that, I think I tired you guys out today. No, but I definitely appreciate this. I like this. I was really excited when you suggested this to me. I was super excited. So.
Oh, well, I'm glad. And I was super excited that you nominated me. I greatly appreciate that again. I can't stop saying thank you. That made my night when I saw this picture on your Instagram page. I was like, oh my God, that's me.
Is that me?
Oh, and before you go, can you tell us a little bit about your other honorees that you have?
Well, yeah. I mean, most of my honorees are going name by name. I'll make it a broad statement. Most of my honorees, they're all educators. They're all business owners as well, and they're highly active in the community, especially in Newark. They push forward to actually building and encouraging youth. I know a few of them were actually educators of mine when I was back in high school.
Mm-hmm.
They were a big inspiration to me, and I know that I wanted them to be a part of it, to speak with my scholarship winners to help them get built up as well.
Nice. That's what I always wanted to do. Go back to my high school, Eastside High School in Patterson, and just hold some type of forum or something similar to this, and just have people like you guys talking and influencing and inspiring the young people coming up to be all that you could be. And like you were saying a few minutes ago, when it comes to bullying and suicide and things like that, I think those are things that need to be tackled. And as you were saying with your Wanted program, it's vital. It's very important, and it's just something that I always wanted to do, and hopefully that I could do it. I really, really want to, because every time I meet people, I'm like, I would want you on my show. I would want you on my panel. I'm gonna make this happen.
You on my show.
So I definitely would want to do something like this. And I'm definitely gonna have y'all on here too.
Absolutely, and that's what we're here for. We're here to not just learn from each other, but to help each other as well, and build. Just to make sure that we actually give that opportunity for the next gen.
Yes.
We're here to do that for each other. So.
Yes, most definitely.
So we're definitely here.
Yes. Okay, well, I'm going to let you go, and I greatly appreciate you calling in.
I greatly appreciate you having me today. Thank you very much.
No problem. And like I told Leroy, you have to come to the show one day.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. I was kicking myself in the pants for not being able to be there today.
It's okay.
We're definitely going to be there.
Okay, I'm gonna hold you to that also.
Absolutely.
Okay.
All right, you have a good one.
You too. Bye.
Thank you again. Bye-bye.
So I definitely want to get into your tapping, some more of that. So do you have to be trained to do that, or can you just do it on your own? Because like I said, when you were saying it, it's like I do that already, but I just didn't know that's what it was.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. And even when, when we're upset or when we're thinking, we'll do like this, and this is a tapping point, we'll go like that. That's a tapping point when we have a headache.
I do that.
With babies, if you rub their chest right here under the collarbone, then it soothes them. And so we're self-soothers. With EFT, I have been certified in it. It was a 3-year process. But you can do it at home. If you have the basic techniques, you can do it at home. But if you want to get into things like trauma, healing, going back to when you were 5 years old, those kind of things, you want to have someone go through that journey with you. And that's when you would... So when I do tapping in my coaching, I'm usually leading people to get through what we call the personal procedure list, your peace procedure list, basically. And so you what you would do is name every item that you need to be less fearful or anxious, whatever the negative emotion is. You would write all those down. And so through my training, I had over 100 things on my list that I need to tap on. And some were easy to get down and others were not so easy to get down. But I'm still not finished through my list. Because every day we're getting new anxieties and encountering new people who might get on our nerves or whatever. So that's why we want to go through all of the past things so we can deal with our issues of emotions day by day by day and not have the buildup of past traumas. Yeah. So it has been such a wonderful journey with EFT, and I enjoy showing people how to do it because their lives, they tell me all the time on Facebook, and they'll call me and say, look, this has really changed my life. I want to go deeper now. Yeah.
Oh, nice. Because you said something again that is personal when you mention, dealing with your emotions day by day instead of letting it build up.
Yeah.
Because that's what I did over the years. I let stuff build up. And now I'm trying to, let some things go, but it's like it's a journey, like you said.
It is a journey.
So
it's a journey also because when you have things in the past, something so innocuous that happened, for instance, maybe your teacher in 5th grade told you would never amount to anything, and that's still in the back of your head. And when you have emotions, it also lodges in your body. So that neck pain that you've always suffered with could be Miss So-and-so who told you something that and so today you might react to someone differently because of that. You don't even remember it. You don't even oh, I let that go. But really,
technically you didn't.
No, no, we don't let anything go. But tapping helps you let it go. It's amazing. It really
how is there a certain amount of minutes you should?
No, literally, you can tap for a minute or less and feel the release. So because when you're tapping on your acupressure point, what you're doing is inserting serotonin, which is the good feel hormone, and it replaces the cortisol, which is the anxious. So we could tap now, you could just do like this and you'll start to feel less stressed out. It works almost immediately for easy cases. And
now watch, I see my mother doing this all day.
Oh, yeah.
I'm telling you.
Well, I saw someone on the highway. I was driving. Someone was on the highway was tapping. I was like, oh, she's probably like, what's wrong with this woman? But I'm like, I know what you're doing. It's wonderful. And it really is. I have my youngest son taps. My husband, funny story, my husband had knee pain, and you ask, on a scale from 0 to 10, how prominent is your pain. He said it's about a 6 or a 7. And so I tapped with him, and went down, and tapped with him. He's like, oh, it's a 4. And I said, okay, let's tap it down. And he's like, oh no, 4 is good. And I said, so you want to be in pain, because we can literally tap that pain down to a 0 and you won't feel anything. He's like, no, I'm feeling all woozy. And I said, you're not feeling woozy. That's called peace and being less anxious.
Yes.
We don't know how it feels to be peaceful anymore. And so I said, you're not feeling woozy. You're feeling peaceful. You're actually getting those chemicals that you need in your body. It's pushing the cortisol out of your body. And that's why you can feel tired, but if you keep tapping, you won't feel tired anymore.
Oh.
Yeah.
Again, we're going to talk after the show, because
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Definitely. I just learned a lot. Because like I said, I didn't even know that's what I was doing all these years.
Yes.
So
That's what you're doing.
Nice.
And we have all these acupressure points all over our bodies. If you've ever been to acupuncture, you know that.
Is that
and
when
we
they put like the needles in? Okay.
But this is just tapping on a few. You can really tap on wherever, all over your body. But we only do the ones that you can easily access.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. You're welcome.
I'm going to bring home a lot of information from my mother today. Thank you. Now, Miss Taylor. Now, you was talking about fashion for plus size with your company that you have. So my question to you is, do you find, well, of course the tech world is evolving, and do you see it evolving even more in like fashion for plus size women?
Fashion specifically for plus size women, I would say no. It's pretty fascinating. Specifically, the technology in the fashion world itself is, it's like, every time I get a new email update of a new, watch out for this company, in the next probably 1, 2, 3 years. I mean, these companies already exist, but in terms of like actually being in your home, you'll be able to scan your body and virtually try on clothes.
Oh my
really?
goodness.
Yeah, this is the technology that they're working on.
Wow.
But what we're finding is the same fundamental issues that existed 20 years ago are still being built into this new technology today, and that is they are using as their base sample models, or they're training their networks using straight size Caucasian women. So it's not even just women size, I don't know, 2 to 8, but just body types that are all so similar to each other.
Right.
And so it's honestly, it's one of those things where when I first actually one of the companies that develops the software reached out to us and was interested in us potentially integrating their software into our application. And very simple question, well, what are what is the demographic makeup of the models that you use to train your network? They're like, well, we can scan any body, and it's always learning. And I'm like, okay, that's a telltale sign that the answer is probably not something that I want to hear. Okay, but that's the I use the word funny often because I try to not necessarily assign a positive or negative emotion to something. It's just curious to me. We'll go with that. Curious, but in this day and age, we're still at a point where 99.9% of this technology is being designed by men, and we have a kind of a strong population of the kind of the Silicon Valley tried and true, I guess, like that demographic of men, so pretty affluent and like white men, and then we have a strong population of like immigrant engineers who are actually doing the work, but the brains behind these operations are still predominantly white men. And so it still blows my mind when I'll go into, you know, a pitch competition or some event, a room full of investors, and they'll say, but how do you know there's a market here? I'm like,
Oh my goodness.
69% of women in this country are plus size. Do you know 69% of 350 million? Okay, I'll give you a moment. Let you work that out, and then and ask you that question again. And these will be, you know, heads of massive funds. And I think that this is, you know, just one microcosm of a bigger issue when it comes to, you know, women in technology and the fundraising gap. It is so difficult because if you ask any of, you know, the top investors, like, of course they care about the data, of course they care about the team, but they want to invest in industries that they know, right? So, you know, I made my first X amount of money in food, so I'm going to invest in food startups. Or I made my first money in education, I'm going to invest in education startups. There aren't a lot of people with a lot of money that are passionate about inclusive fashion. So it is like a quadruple edged sword. I don't know what that big, a throwing star or something maybe, when it comes to trying to build this business, because you are fighting an uphill battle on so many fronts. And the saddest part is the value is there. Like the need is so blatant. And whereas like I'll see ads on like my Facebook feed for like, you know, get this new like solar powered electric like scooter for your dog, and I'm like, how did this person raise enough money to build this product out? And we're out here trying to do like some real things, and we're seeing all this resistance. But it's just one of those
that amazes me,
you know,
because like you said, some of the things that I see, I'm like, okay, I don't get it. But then, like you said, the things that we need, those are the hardest things to get funding for, to help us build, you know, whatever it is that we're trying to do to help other people.
Right.
So you are right on that. Like, I watch Shark Tank sometimes, and I'm like, come on. But then people make millions just from being on TV with their product. But I'm like, what about the things that we actually need to help us with our daily lives? That's a very good point. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No,
Keep going.
no, not at all. I think it just really kind of shines a light on the importance of really investing and trusting in your network, and being able to fall back on the community, because it is hard.
Yes.
And you're here, it's like no. And as an entrepreneur, you can sometimes put yourself in isolation. You might not actually be isolated, but you feel like it, and then it comes like the self-fulfilling prophecy. But there are so many organizations out there for women of color, for women of color tech, for women that are fundraising, for like you just have to really not let yourself get into that mindset of I'm in this alone, because you're not. There are so many people out there trying to do like real things and solve real problems, and they're hitting the same roadblocks, and maybe they're a few steps ahead of you, or maybe you're a few steps ahead of them, but it's all one big, you know,
I agree.
Each one teach one.
Yes.
Throw it back when it's, you know,
absolutely.
that's definitely where it is, and I think that's where it needs to be, but given the current, you know, environment, it's where it needs to be right now.
It was a few things that you mentioned, especially when it comes to depending on each other, and whatever it is that you want to do, because again, that goes back to surrounding yourself with people who think like you and who's trying to accomplish the same goals as you, because you will find yourself helping each other out, whether it's going, you know, you may know one person and another person may walk in the room and someone may say, oh, well, this is such and such, and then the next thing you know, you're networking, and you find out that person may have what you need.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, it's
Extremely
very important that you keep those people, good people around you who,
Right.
you know, think like you. And I can't stress that enough either, because as I grow personally and with my business, as I mentioned before, you notice people who said they was always going to be there, they start to fall off.
Mm-hmm.
But those that fall off are replaced with people that's helping me get to where I need to get to. And they do more than the ones that been with me from the beginning, if that makes sense.
And they can do more.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
And I would almost like not challenge, but okay, I'll say I've challenged the idea of surrounding yourself exclusively with people who think like you, because the near evil of that is you get caught up in the same like box of thinking. So one of my mentors always, he's another person who speaks in quotes and quips. And, you know, you should never be the smartest person in the room.
Right,
The smartest
right.
person in the room, you're in the wrong room.
Right.
Get out. So something that came from that is this discovery that I love discourse. So I went to a liberal arts school, so we're all about all the fancy words of basically how to talk, right? So you have, you know, there's a conversation or a discussion where you are essentially like building on the same idea with another person. But then there's something called discourse. Discourse is when you're having a conversation with someone who more or less has a fundamentally different view on what it is that you're talking about, but you both have the emotional intelligence and, you know, training to be able to have the conversation in a respectful way, where in the end you both leave more informed, more enlightened. And that is what I started to seek out more so than anything with building this business, because there's so many people, your Aunt Susan and your neighbor from down the street, like, I've been watching you on Facebook and you're killing it and you're doing, I'm like, really? Because my numbers are saying something else. And I appreciate the kind words, but I need someone that can, you know, that can push you. And when you're pushed, that's only when you realize that, like, wait a minute, I actually have the strength to push back. Like, actually, I do know the answer. Like, and so it's a delicate balance. Like, you know, obviously you don't want to be surrounded by haters, so that's not fun for anybody. But, you know, kind of keeping that balance of people that challenge you to think differently and think bigger, and creating that vision of what you want, and not really worry about the small details of exactly how you're going to get there, because you probably don't know in this moment. Even if you think you know, you probably don't know. But when you have that end point in your mind, you just take it like decision by decision, step by step, and then like, oh, it's getting a little closer. Oh, it's getting a little closer, you know? And so
You love the small wins, as you mentioned before.
Man,
Take the small wins. Yeah. Oh yeah. I tell you,
it's important to have all of that support. I talked to a friend of mine, and she has her own business as well, and back a few years ago we were like, oh, but you know, our friend so-and-so doesn't support us, and our friend so-and-so doesn't support us anymore, but you know, by coming to the programs or whatever we're offering, but they're still friends. And what we've been doing is assigning, they're not our population, they're our friends.
right?
And we have to remember, she's my friend, but she's really not my population. So why should she? I mean, just to be my friend, she's my friend, we talk, so forth and so on. But she doesn't have to be at everything that I'm doing. So it goes, I was taking the opposite of what you were saying. Marcia Guerriere, Woman on the Rise. She's amazing. Woman on the Rise. I have gotten to know so many entrepreneurs through her conferences, so I'm just blessed. Shout out to Marcia.
Yes, she's actually going to be on here the 26th.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just assumed she's probably already, since I'm on here, she had to have been on here already.
She's actually going to be on here the 26th.
Okay.
Yes,
I'll
of
watch.
May. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So I'm definitely looking forward to that.
Gotten all of us together to get to know, and we're helping each other, and it's just been a blessing.
I love stepping out of the norm, with my life. Because like I said, I've been in investment banking for a long time, and to actually step out and have my own business and to get into media, which is something I always wanted to do, which is something Sean and I talked about on my first show. I love it because I love what I do, but I love meeting people like you and Reverend Casey. I love that part of it. And just hearing the things, about your business and what you go through. And I'm like, I'm not the only one that go through that.
No, not at all.
So that, puts me at comfort knowing that I'm not crazy. I know that I'm not going through it by myself.
That's right.
And to watch other women and men, climb the ladder of where they're trying to get to, and you see their progress and you see what they're doing, I'm like, that's amazing. And when you hear their journey and their story, I love that so much. That's what I love about doing what I do. So on that note, I want both of you to give out your social media information, because it's 3:51 and we got a few more minutes, and I wanted to have you guys give out your social media information, talk about where people could find you, how they could ask you questions and things like that. So, Taylor, take it away.
Awesome. So my most active social channel is probably Instagram. And I am at Taylor Wallis. No O's or anything fun, just Taylor Wallis. It's me. Through there, you can find links to my website, my Facebook. If you don't have Instagram, it's I think facebook.com/ Taylor. Taylor, you know what? Email. Email me at taylor@thefitfounder.com. If it's anything about more so like lifestyle, business, digital nomad, traveling, things like that. If it's actually about like fashion, fashion forward, fashion inclusivity, you can email me at taylor@fybs.co, not .com, .co. But it will autocorrect and you say no, .co.
Reverend Casey.
Okay, so let's see. My website is restorationlifecoach.com, and you can also find me at thewantedproject.org. On Twitter and Instagram, I am Rev KC Jones, and Instagram at The Wanted Project is at The Wanted Project. Yeah, I've had to hone all of that in a little bit. So that's where you can find me. If you want to email me, it's kcjones@restorationlifecoach.com. I'm excited. So glad to have been with you both.
Thank you.
Nice to meet
Thank
you, Taylor.
Thank you for having me.
I just want to say also the Wanted Project is in Ghana, West Africa, and we've been there for about 3 years at the Senior Correctional Facility, where there are youth housed there, and so for the past 3 years we've become institutionalized there. They cannot get out of juvenile detention center without going through our program.
Wow.
So just really excited about that.
Yes. Ooh.
That's really awesome.
Yeah. You have to come back. You have to come back.
Oh, I have another like a shameless plug. That's what it is. So I've sprinkled this in a few times, but again, so I'm what's called a digital nomad. So I travel full time. Right now I'm living in Medellin, Colombia. It's dope. Coming here was hard. It was so cold. Then it got too hot. So it was quite the
Up and down.
Hearing a little bit. But it's something that has fundamentally changed my life. And I have so many people that reach out to me and they have this idea in their head that it's either something that they have to wait until they're, retired to do, or like it's so expensive, or it's so. And so I've just really discovered this new passion in me personally, just helping people figure out what steps they need to take if this is something that they're interested in, whether they want to spend 4 months or a year traveling and working while you travel. It is so attainable, and please, if it's something that you're even curious about, just like reach out to me. I'd love to talk to you about it. and maybe I'll see you in like Budapest or something.
All right.
So,
Wow.
yes. Hit me up.
Nice. How did you branch off into that though? Like, how did you get started? Like, to just be able to get up and move whenever you wanted to.
Technology is an amazing thing. So in terms of getting started, really, I woke up one morning. So I went through a business accelerator in Newark, actually. So and so we graduated from the accelerator in May, and I was kind of at a crossroads of, do I want to stay in the city and keep building my business here? My team is in New York and Chicago, so we were already kind of, scattered. And I realized that in 3 years after graduating, I lived in 3 cities, and I just kept finding myself kind of getting stuck in the same cycle of, like, okay, work. Okay, now I need to blow off some steam. I'm going to go to the same yoga studio with the same people, go to the same, cheap restaurant. It just started to become, like, I could literally look on a piece of paper at the trajectory of my life and see where I was going to be at 50, and this is what was going to be in my 401k. And I was like, this is not how I imagine maximizing this gift that God gave me of, like, waking up each day and saying, okay.
Feel like that every day.
Another one. Like, no, that's like, what?
That's right.
And so when I actually began to crunch the numbers, I realized it was literally cheaper for me to live in almost anywhere else in the world than Boston or New York, which is where I was living. And I grew up in a household that was very globally minded. I've always been a huge language enthusiast. I speak Spanish and Portuguese and Japanese, and I love it. It's just so all jazzed up and vibrating over here. And so when I actually started to do the research and I realized that it was attainable, that was the second that the switch just flipped in my head. And I was like, I'm doing this. And once you make that decision, I'm a firm believer of, like, what we say to ourselves matter. So when you, even the littlest things, like, I'm going to wake up tomorrow and go to the gym, and you don't wake up the next day and go to the gym, there's a little part of your brain that's like, I'm a liar. And times that by 20, 30, 40 years, it really has an impact on, like, your willpower and your, like, belief in yourself. So I've really started being intentional with, like, when I tell myself I'm going to do something, I actually do it. And I told myself I was going to spend 2018 traveling as a digital nomad, and spend 2018 traveling as a digital nomad.
All right. Congrats. Congrats, because I say that to myself every day. It's more to my life than getting up and doing the same thing every day. It's just a matter of, like you said, you have to make the change on your own, because it's not just going to happen overnight. So I applaud you. Give me 5.
So applaud me too.
Yes, definitely. Yes.
I said that 2018 was going to be my year to
Yes.
travel. So I'm going to South Sudan in May, and I was just asked to do that 2 months ago with the World Council of Churches. Then Europe, and then my church and I are sponsoring a trip to Ghana to go to my program over there. So I'm very excited also.
Yes, go ahead.
Yes. It is the year.
It is
It's
the
the year.
And my friend Lawrence been trying to get me to get my passport for the longest.
Oh, come on,
and
get
I
it.
finally got it.
Okay,
I
good.
went 2 weeks ago, and I was like, okay, why do I just don't feel like standing in this long line waiting for my number to be called? But I got
Now
it.
that you
I'm waiting
have
on
it,
it to come here. I mean,
You're
waiting on it to
going.
get here. So I'll be going to Canada.
Nice.
So I'm
See?
like,
Little victory.
yes, the
Yeah.
little wins.
Little wins, man. Celebrate that.
So
Huge.
I'll be doing what both of y'all doing. I'll be able to go now. So I do thank both of you for coming on the show. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
And I'm definitely going to have you guys back. I would love for you to come back. And I appreciate you coming on. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you for having
Thank
me.
you everyone for watching. Have a wonderful day, because it's nice outside.
Beautiful.
Yes.
So go out and enjoy it, especially if you're here in New York. Enjoy it, because I'm hearing we're supposed to have a winter mix.
Tomorrow.
Yes. So
40 flying out at 120. Good luck, y'all. Missed it.
Great
Great. Oh, and my mother wanted me to tell you guys, thank you so much for all the information. And to Leroy, she also want to thank you also. So, yes, we all enjoyed
Thank
you.
you, Mom.
Thank you so much.
I love it.
Have a good one. Bye.
Bye now.